Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Friday and welcome to Wicca 202. We're going to be talking about the heart of the craft this week. Now, if you'll recall the class from the Wicca 101 series about the witch's pyramid, you might remember that the interior of the pyramid is meant to be filled with love. And just as we would wish for our own hearts to be filled with love, so too should our craft be motivated by love. And from time to time, I'll issue little reminders that the practice of witchcraft should never be an act of rebellion or, come out of a desire to feel special or just to be seen as a way to accumulate power. The reason I do this is because if someone practices the craft out of bad motivation, it creates bad results, both for the practitioner, the people affected by their work, and honestly, it gives a bad rap for witchcraft generally. And this is why we should really deal with our personal issues before we label ourselves witches and before we meddle with magic. Rebellion is to be against something, just to prove a point. And the craft isn't really what we're against. And the exaggerated need to feel special and recognized, that is not an issue that can be solved by taking up the craft. The mere capacity to practice witchcraft in a meaningful way is special enough. We shouldn't need anything more than that, and it should be enough just to have the opportunity to develop and train our talents. If we're needing more recognition or we want people to look up to us in some way just because we can practice the craft, then it's time for us to put down the wand and deal with what's actually bothering us. And as for the pursuit of power, witchcraft is not and never has been about gaining power. If you have the ability to practice witchcraft, then you have power innately, and that's something that can never be stripped away from you. Witchcraft is not about getting power. It is about learning how and when to use the power you already possess. And the desire to accumulate power is the base motivation of the worst kind of people. The last thing someone of that mindset has any business doing is getting involved with witchcraft. Now, the people who really get it when it comes to witchcraft, they do have love at the center of everything they do, whether they are doing healing work, protection work, whatever their task is, it is all coming from a place of love, and ultimately it is an expression of love in one way or another. Now, certainly I'm aware of the school of thought that presents the practice of witchcraft in a very mercenary, if not outright malicious light. Just as with any other tool we might use in life, a witchcraft can be misused for shameful purposes. That doesn't make the people who abuse the craft correct. It just makes them jerks. That's all. And no one has any obligation to follow in their footsteps or think that they're cool or edgy or more powerful or somehow have a deeper knowledge of the mysteries. I mean, it's just nonsense. And frankly, there's benefits if we don't go that route. I mean, it's one thing for us to make a mess in life. That can be difficult enough to clean up. But magical messes, they are on a whole other level. Practicing the craft is a responsibility, and there are consequences if we fail in that responsibility, especially if that was the result of deliberate malicious action. So it becomes a matter of reflection for us, understanding why we choose to do what we do, especially if we're actively utilizing magic in that pursuit. This is why shadow work is incredibly important. I mean, we of all people need to know what lurks within us because we are powerful in and of ourselves. And with that power comes a duty not to let our personal crap wreak havoc on other people. Just as someone who has great physical strength has a duty to learn how to keep their temper so, they don't snap and start beating people to death and hurt them every time they get annoyed. It comes down to self-control and learning how to process our emotions and our impulses in healthier ways, which is, again, motivated by love and a sense of general benevolence. And the more we do this work, the cleaner our magical workings are. We're removing the impurities. We are left with more focused intention, and that in turn makes us more effective and our results more predictable. Witchcraft is wielding the energies of creation itself. It is an extraordinary thing to be able to do this kind of work at all, in any degree. But when we measure this against the grand scheme of things, I mean, it's an incredible privilege that we can be part of this larger process, even in a small way. So meditating on the kind of gratitude that realization evokes, that really fuels the love at the center of the witch's pyramid, at the center of our own pyramid. And it makes it clear why these abilities came into being amongst the human species and what our role is as a practitioner. Our job is to heal, to build, to teach, explore, guide, and to walk with one foot in the unseen with the other foot rooted in the seen. If we are to be successful in this role, we must keep love at the center of everything. So now for our homework for February 24th through March 4th. Number 1, think back to when you began your journey. What was your motivation then? Is it the same or is it different from your motivation now? Is this motivation constructive or destructive? Number 2, meditate and journal about the concept and application of witchcraft motivated by the sense of general goodwill and love versus witchcraft motivated by maliciousness, rebelliousness, or as a means of propping up a false self-image. And number 3, how do you think you can cultivate a stronger sense of benevolence towards the world within yourself? So if you have comments, questions, concerns, complaints, issues, let me know in the comment section below or come pay me a visit on Gilded. The group is called Blackbird's Brew. It's free of charge to join, and the link to join us is in the description box. So I hope to hear from you soon, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.